Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Waskrug, and I am here to review the latest movies that are out in theaters, as well as any movies you guys request in the comments section, whether they be old school movies or just movies that have come out recently that haven't been in the last month or so. If you guys have any requests on any movies you'd like to have reviewed by me, just leave them in the comments below on this video, or head on over to Sean's Movie Crusades on Facebook and you can leave a comment there. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on this channel and on the Facebook page, so that way you guys are kept up to date with any new movies that come down the road, with any more reviews, as well as any other content I deliver to you guys down the road. But don't forget that like, share, and subscribe button as well. Today we are reviewing Robin Hood. And basically, I'm not the kind of guy that likes to necessarily bash movies just to bash them, unless they deserve to be bashed. I get that there's a lot of people that work on these movies. They put a lot of hard work in, and it's not easy making a movie. Trust me, I'm filming these, and these aren't movies, and I know they're not easy. But sometimes there are just movies that are so bad, they just can't help but butcher the hell out of them. This is going to be one of those movies. So, if you're looking for something that is going to be kind of a positive review, this isn't going to be one of those movies. I apologize. So, let's put it this way. I'm also not a big reviewer that likes to spoil things. Now, I do like to talk about movies and certain things that happen in the movie, but to the point where they're not spoiler. There's not really any way to not spoil this movie. I mean, it's Robin Hood. You guys have all seen Robin Hood movies before. They all kind of do the same thing. But I'm gonna butcher this movie, and there are potential chances of me saying things that are spoiler. So if you guys want to not be spoiled, don't watch the rest of the review. If you guys want a very quick recap of a non-spoiler aspect of this movie's awful. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Don't see it. I don't recommend paying. Let's put it this way. Don't see it. I don't recommend paying to go out to a theater and seeing this movie, especially with the crop of movies that are out right now. This is a movie that I would recommend watching at home when it's streaming. Watch it with friends and have a good time making fun of it, because it's a lot of fun to make fun of this movie, and it really doesn't do a whole lot to defend itself. So that's kind of my quick non-spoiler part of the review. So if that's what you guys wanted, go ahead and stop the video now. Don't forget to leave a like. But now, let's get into this thing. So, spoiler warning. We're going to actually talk about this movie. It ain't going to be pretty. So first off, when I first heard about this movie, I was kind of indifferent about it. Mainly because back in the 90s, Robin Hood worked. Or 90s and previous to that. Robin Hood worked as a movie. I mean, you had the 1938 Adventures of Robin Hood, which is a classic. You had the Disney Robin Hood in 1973, which a lot of people have forgotten about, but still a great cartoon film for the Disney vault. You have my favorite Robin Hood, Kevin Costner's Prince of Thieves in 91. And then you have the comedy one, which was Men in Tights in 1993, which to this day, I love the song Men in Tights, and I think it's hilarious. And then in 2010, they made one where it was basically a chore not to fall asleep through it, which was Ridley Scott's version of Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, which was so boring, it was painful. This one's not boring. Definitely not. So when this one came out and I saw the cast, that's where the indifference came, because it's like, I don't need another Robin Hood movie. It's overdone. We have shows like Arrow that are out now that are basically Robin Hood as a superhero, minus, the stealing from the rich to give to the poor. But Robin Hood's very old school now, with a lot of Archer characters that have come out in the recent decades, such as like Hawkeye and Marvel, which I know he's been around for a while, but in movie form, not so much. But, I mean, with Hawkeye, Legolas from Lord of the Rings, like I said, Arrow, heck, even Katniss from the Hunger Games. Robin Hood's very basic kind of a character now compared to those archers. But the one thing that maybe gave me kind of hope that this movie was going to be good is the cast. I really like the people that are in this film. I love Taron Egerton. I've loved him and everything he's in. Kingsman. I mean, easily one of my favorite action spy movies ever made. I like him in everything he's in. He's even a good singer. He's going to be playing Elton John here soon. He was also good as the gorilla in Sing. Jamie Foxx. Who doesn't love Jamie Foxx? I mean, let's be honest. Jamie Foxx always gives 100% to whatever role he's in, and he's always an enjoyable watch. Ben Mendelsohn. Easily becoming probably one of my favorite villain characters over the past couple years. He's kind of where Mark Strong was back in the early 2010s, where just every role he's in, he's easily playing the villain, but you love him in it. I mean, whether it's Rogue One, Ready Player One, he had a small part in Dark Knight Rises. He had a great TV show on Netflix called Bloodline. He's really good at just playing that evil character. Whether it's over the top or whether it's grounded, he always brings it, and he's a great casting choice in every movie he's in. Jamie Dornan, I'm not. The 50 Shades movies are garbage. I'm sorry. I get that it's for a certain type of fan base, but whether you like the books or not, those movies are utter trash. You can like the books all you want, but those movies are trash. So I really have no basis on him as an actor, but even I felt sorry for him in this movie, as he's completely wasted in this movie. He's let's put it this way, he's wasted in this, but they're gonna use him eventually. At least that's their hope, because they built this movie to be the start of a franchise. This movie literally ends going into a sequel. They're hoping that this movie is going to be a big enough of a hit that it's going to spawn off multiple films of Robin Hood. And Jamie Dornan's character, he'll be a big part in those sequels that will never get made. Because I'm sorry, the reviews of this movie are atrocious. The movie itself is really, really bad. It's fun hate watch. You hate the movie, but it's fun watching it to make fun of it, kind of like the 50 Shades movies. But they're not going to make sequels to this. It's not. And if it does, you know that every cast member that's going to come back to this are just going to be forced to. And they're not going to give 100%. And so even though they are trying to make this a franchise, it's just not going to work. Why does it not work? Obviously, I've said my piece. It's a bad movie, but let's delve into it and see exactly why it's so bad. First off, it's none of the actors' fault. All the actors. Taron Egerton as Robin Hood, Jamie Foxx as Little John, Ben Mendelsohn as the Sheriff of Nottingham, Eve Hewson as Marion, not Maid Marian, just Marion. Jamie Dornan as Will, like I say, he's wasted, but and even Tim Minchin, he plays Friar Tuck. All of them do a good job. None of them do bad in this. They're trying hard to make this movie great. It's not their fault. It's the direction, it's the script, it's the dialogue, and it's really not knowing what this movie is by the director. They start the movie with Taron Egerton doing a horrible voiceover, talking, I guess, not as Robin Hood, because the whole movie starts with him basically saying, ignore the history of Robin Hood, forget what you know about me. This is the real story, and it's not pretty, and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't tell people who are watching a movie when you're coming in that ignore everything you know because this is what it's going to be, and it's not pretty. You're basically telling us right from the get-go, this movie's going to be bad. And then that voiceover doesn't come back again till the end of the film, and it's like, so what's the point of the voiceover? The voiceover actually hurts the film right from the get-go. It puts a bad taste in your mouth, mainly because, like I said, I love Taron Egerton, but his voiceover works horrible in this. Even he doesn't sound like he cares as he's reading the dialogue for the beginning of this film. So it already kind of puts you in literally in the first minutes of the movie. But this movie rips off a lot of films. It rips off the Batman series from Christopher Nolan. There are literally parts of this movie that are taken right out of Batman Begins. The Jamie Dornan character, who he's Will, he's basically Harvey Dent from Dark Knight. And when I say that, I mean, he's literally Harvey Dent from the Dark Knight series. That should give you a good wink of what's going to happen with his character throughout this movie. He's Harvey Dent. Mask of Zorro basically is also really used a lot in this movie. It just is taking parts and pieces of other films, and it's just basically being scrambled together. It feels like a fan film of a bunch of directors and writers who loved these other movies and wanted to make a movie like it, but let's use the Robin Hood storyline to do it. And it doesn't work. The other big problem, too, is Robin Hood. He's got his Little John and merry men, and he's in Sherwood Forest. There are no merry men in this movie. There are no Sherwood Forest until the very end of the film. They treat this movie as like a prequel to Robin Hood, but still the same story, but not the story we know, and that's supposed to be what the sequel is. I know that sounds confusing, but that's also how the movie is. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know whether it wants to be modern, like it's a timeless story where it uses modern type but like it uses modern weaponry. They have a turret crossbow that's like a machine gun crossbow. That was never around back then. They have this horrific party scene that literally looks like it's right out of the Hunger Games. There's so many fur coats, so much leather, and all this stuff that it doesn't feel like it's part of the timeline of what Robin Hood takes place in. And that's, the advanced weaponry, the costumes, even the party scene. They have a casino in this party scene. They have roulette. They have craps. They have all this stuff, and it's like none of this stuff was around back then. If you're trying to modernize it and make it more like today, then go full blown with it. Make it a modern day Robin Hood. They don't. It's like the old school Robin Hood story done in that time frame, but they throw modern stuff into the movie that makes no sense, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. Mainly, like I said, the weaponry. Because we do have a scene in the movie where Robin Hood, they actually do show Robin Hood in the Crusades, or Robin of Locksley in the Crusades, and they try to make it almost like a Saving Private Ryan moment. They're walking down this rubbled area, and they just get fired upon by like a machine gun version of crossbow, and it takes you out of the scene. It's an intense scene, but it's like, okay, these guys are walking around with normal bow and arrow, and then the other side has these super high-tech pieces of equipment, and it's like they're clearly outmatched. And even in, when he returns back home, there's every guy, I don't think there's a single sword in this movie. Now that I'm trying to think about it, there's axes. I don't recall seeing a sword once in this film. It's just a bunch of crossbows and axes, and that's it. And all of the crossbows are multi-shooted crossbows. There's no shoot once, reload. It's all, like literally have like magazines of arrows. They pump it in and they just shoot. And I'm just like, okay, it's cool looking, but it takes me out of the movie. They also are trying to make Taron Egerton like this sexy Robin Hood, like I said, like a Playboy Bruce Wayne. In the beginning of the movie, when he meets Marion first scene is him meeting Marion. So they're together before he goes to war, and there's this really awkward scene in the beginning where, like in any other movie, it would be a sex scene, but I felt like they didn't want it to go that far. So it's a real awkward making out scene where it's literally them just kind of not chasing each other around the room, but he just keeps spinning her around and like pausing and then kissing her, but like just like straight kiss on the lips, no making out. And then it clips back to a horse rider, and then it goes back and he spins her around again, pause, kiss, horse rider, goes back, spin, pause, kiss. I'm not joking. That literally happens 3 or 4 times in the sequence. It's awkward, it's weird, and it's downright laughable. And it's just, like I said, this movie just starts off from the get-go just not doing anything to help out itself. It's just, like I said, none of the performances are bad, but it's just the way it's shot, the way it's ran, It's done horribly the whole way through. They try to make it different by, instead of everyone calling him Robin, they call him Rob. Like, that's supposed to make him more edgy and cool. And it's just like, no, his name is Robin of Locksley, or Robin Hood. Robin Hood is never mentioned once in the entire movie. There's one point where they tease it, like, oh, are they going to call him Robin Hood? But they don't. They either call him Robin of Locksley, or The Hood, which just made me think of the movie Arrow, or the TV show Arrow the entire time. Never once do they call him Robin Hood. Even though the movie's called Robin Hood, he is never called Robin Hood once in this entire film. The other thing, too, is that he's supposed to be covered up. He's supposed to be wearing kind of like a bandana with his hood so he can't be seen. And in every action scene, for the most part, his bandana comes off. Anyone who's paying attention can see who he is. There are certain scenes where big name bad guys who literally get a perfect eye view of Robin and know who he is outside of the Robin Hood character, that could basically tell the sheriff, hey, the Hood is Robin. But they act like they don't see him. Even Jamie Foxx's character, who helps out Robin throughout this entire movie, never once is he under disguise. So there are times where he's in broad daylight, out in the open. All of the sheriff of Nottingham's guys can see Jamie Foxx's character, but yet whenever he just walks around like normal, and no one ever stops him. And it's like, dude, you're not even trying to hide. And it just makes everyone in this town come off like idiots, because they can clearly see Robin's face, because his bandana barely ever stays on. And then they see Jamie Foxx, and that never once do they, like, connect the dots, and it's very annoying in that sense. Just like, also, they choose what hurts people, more or less. Like, and this is in the trailer, you know, because you see Jamie Foxx hit him in the thigh. Robin gets shot in the thigh at one point in this movie. He literally is acting like he's gonna lose his leg. Like, that's how bad it hurts. And, but yet, like, 2 hours later, per se, you know, it's later that night, let's say a couple hours, he's jumping around, flipping around, doing all this stuff that literally a guy who was injured, you know, earlier in the day shouldn't be able to do. At one point, he gets shot straight in the chest, like a kill shot. Doesn't, like, he yells out in pain, but then after that, he gets up and he starts fighting again. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You know, it's stuff like that. It's like they don't know, they can't keep the consistency level going on in this movie. And it's frustrating to watch for people who are actually following the movie as it's going, when things are so out of whack. And the action is good. I mean, it's not bad action, but I will say there's some kind of sorcery going on, because the level rate of speed that Robin Hood shoots his arrows and retrieves them from his quiver are ungodly. Legolas was fast, but Legolas was an elf. He had magic with him. There's no human possible way that Robin Hood... It's literally like the arrows are like just appearing in his hand and he's shooting super fast. There's no way he can be that fast shooting arrows. It's just not plausible, and it kind of comes off laughable. Also, one nitpick, and this is in all archery movies, whether it be Hawkeye, Legolas, any of them, this bugs me so much, is you can clearly see at the start of a battle, they have like 5 arrows. 5. Yet they shoot like 50 of them. And like, there's times where you like look at his quiver, oh, he's got 2 arrows left. What's he gonna do? No, he's gonna shoot about 20 more arrows, and then it looks like he still has 2 arrows left. And it's just like, guys, if you're gonna have him have unlimited arrows, have his thing be fully full. Don't show me that he's got 2 arrows left, and then he shoots 20 of them, and I'm supposed to believe that, like, you do it with guns. They run out of guns, boom, they need another magazine. But with arrows in every movie, they have unlimited arrows, and it's so annoying. And like I said, that's not something particularly about this movie. It's all Archer movies in general, but it's annoying. but yeah, like I said, Mendelsohn, him and what's his name, F. Murray Abraham. They're literally the only 2 actors who know what movie they're in. F. Murray Abraham, he plays the Cardinal in this movie. They are playing their villain role all the way to an 11, to the point where it's. I mean, it works for this movie. Like Ben Mendelsohn's character, I enjoyed his sheriff. But he's so turned on to an 11 that it's over the top. But it fits with this movie. When F. Murray Abraham comes in as the Cardinal, he's so like mustache twistly bad as a villain that it's awful. And there's one point in the movie where these two are conspiring this huge plan, and it's clearly has taken years to come up with this plan, and they're the only two in this room, and they're the only one talking about it. It's that secret of a plan. And then Robin Loxley shows up and does this thing, and then he's about to walk out, and they go, "Oh no, wait, stay, listen to this amazing plan we got cooked up. We only have talked to you for 30 seconds, but you know what? The Sheriff Nottingham says he trusts you. I'm just going to let you in on everything that we're doing." And the entire time they're doing it, Taron Egerton's face is literally showing his disapproval and shocked face of what their plan is, and none of them seem to look over and go, "You clearly aren't down with us. We're going to kill you." They just let him go. It's like if you're breaking a crime or you're planning a huge crime, and your buddy's a cop, and you go, "You know what? You're my buddy. You come on and listen. You're not going to do anything about it." And then when he does, you're like shocked by it. This movie is very frustrating, but I had fun watching it. Why? Because it was fun to laugh at. It's fun to make fun of. It's kind of a Mystery Science 3000 kind of film. And that's really the only reason why I'd recommend this movie. Like I said, don't spend money to go see this in a theater, mainly because don't be a dick in a theater. That is not your time to jaw at the film. There are people who have paid good money to see this movie, and they're fans of Robin Hood, and they want to watch it and not be annoyed by people laughing or yelling at the screen or anything like that. Wait till this movie comes out on streaming or anything like, or Redbox or anything like that. Rent it, stream it, whatever. Have fun. Have your friends come over and laugh and enjoy bashing this movie. Just don't do it in the theater. Not that anyone did it, but I'm saying that this is what this kind of movie is. It's one you're going to poke at, you're going to laugh at, you're going to have fun watching it, because it's a bad movie. Just don't do it in a theater. But overall, like I said, I went on a rant, I apologize, but this movie deserved it. But overall, that's Robin Hood. I wanted it to be good. I really did. I really was hoping that with this cast, we could trust it to at least be decent. It's not. It has its moments, and I think I mainly enjoyed watching it was because I liked the cast. And like I said, they try. It's not their fault. It's just horribly directed. It's got a horrible screenplay. The dialogue's atrocious. But they tried, and that's really all you can give them, is that they tried. But yeah, so I mean, if you want to watch it, if you want to go see it, be prepared. It's not good. It's a trash movie, and a lot of people like trash movies because it's fun to turn your brain off and just have fun, and you might end up enjoying it that way. But for the most part, you're probably going to hate this movie, and the Rotten Tomatoes score shows that. I'm not a big fan of Rotten Tomatoes scores because I feel like people spend too much time focusing on the percentage, which is entirely the wrong way to look at Rotten Tomatoes scores. You should be looking at the average score per review. But this one's ranking around a 3.4, 3.7 out of 10. So it's basically saying that this movie's really, really bad. And it is. But you can have fun watching it. Just don't do it in the theater. That's basically it, guys. That's basically my review for Robin Hood. Like I said, sorry for the rant. Sorry for the spoiler review aspect of it. If you guys didn't like that, I apologize. It's not going to happen every time. It's just this movie is so bad that it just kind of warranted it. But anyway, if you guys liked the review or if you liked the rant, like I said, give it a like, share, subscribe. If you got any comments, leave them on the YouTube page. Or like I said, you can head on over to Sean's Movie Crusades on Facebook and you can comment on there. And don't forget to follow that page as well, as I'll keep you up to date with all the upcoming reviews and anything else that's coming down the road for the show. And in case I don't see you guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.